How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Yud Tes, Daf 19 of Masechta BavaBasra. Friends, we're just gonna go kind of weiter in like stuff. Yeah, we're just gonna go like weiter in stuff. We're just gonna go weiter in stuff. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start in Daf Yud Tes Amud Aleph on the second line. All right, the very exciting sugya of the nevreches hakovsin, the pit that you would wash clothing in. Okay, exciting. Amar Rav Nachman Rabbi BavaBasra. Leshanu ela min mechamtzon aval min anadyon daled amis. Okay. Apparently, the way that they would wash clothing was that it's kind of weird. Like they would have like one pit that they would like fill with like dog excrement and water, and they would like soak their clothing in that for like 2 days or something. Wow. Oh gosh, I'm happy that we have like just detergent these days. And you have to leave it there for like 2 days. Like 2 days. Like I don't know, how often do they do laundry? Like if you do laundry once a week, well, you can't really do laundry once a week. You have to do like laundry like two days a week. No one wants to wear that clothing after that anyways. But then you would have another pit which you would like then scrub in and I don't know. So you had 2 pits. So now the difference is that the one that you just kind of drop the clothing in and leave it there. So that one, that one doesn't splash as much as opposed to like the other one where you actually like scrub the clothing in. Well, then like water can go splashing around. Okay, so says the Gemara. Again, from the beginning, when we say only 3 tefachim from the wall, that's talking about the pit where you kind of let the clothing soak with the dog excrement for 2 days. But from the other pit where you would then scrub the clothing, and I guess you'd have to scrub them real good after that 2-day soak with dog excrement. Anyways, that would like kind of, that one would kind of get all splashy, and therefore that needs to be 4 amas away from the wall. Tananami Yochi, we also learn a brayso like this. Nevreches hakovsin, when it comes to this laundry pit, daled amas, 4 amas from the wall. But we said 3 tefachim. Lav shmamina kid Rav Nachman, rather must be like Rav Nachman. That it depends. If it's the mechamtzon, then it's 3 tefachim. If it's the nadyon, then it's 4 amas. V'ikada rami lehu mirma. That those who have to say, this kind of phrase this as a question. On the one hand, Tanan Nivreches Akovsin Gimel Tvachim. On the one hand, our Mishnah says that that this laundry pit is 3 Tvachim away from the wall. V'atanya Arba Amis, but we have a brayso that says 4 Amis. Rav Nachman, Rabbi BavaBasra. So comes Rav Nachman, Rabbi BavaBasra, and he says, Lo kasha, it's no problem. Kan mina mechamtzon, kan mina najan. That it depends. If it's the machamson, so it's 3 tefachim. If it's the najin, it's 4 amas. Rav Chia Brei de Rav Avia masni lo behedra. Rav Chia Brei de Rav Avia, actually in our Mishnah, he taught it explicitly. Ela imkein hirchik mi svas mechamtzon v'la kosel gimel tefachim. That in our Mishnah, when it says 3 tefachim, it specifically says the mechamtzon, right? And imkein hirchik mi svas mechamtzon v'la kosel gimel tefachim. Visod basid, all right, and then so in the this wasn't necessarily talking about a wall. This was talking about the pit, right? I'm going back to the Mishnah. Adam bor samuch levar shechaver v'lo seach v'lo mayir v'lo amas hamayim v'lo neveches kovsin l'mkein yirchik mikos chaver shloshet tefachim. Okay, so that was on the ratio. Okay, we said it, but he has to distance it from his neighbor's property, and then we said visod basid, and he also has to, I guess, like I guess plaster the pit, seal the pit with lime so that it doesn't leak. All right. Frek the Gemara, brother, they want to know visod basid tanan o dilma osod basid tanan. Is it saying that you additionally, in addition to distancing 3 tefachim, you oichet need to plaster, or is it an alternative? Either you can distance 3 tefachim or you can plaster. What is it? Pshita de visod basid tanan. So says the Gemara, it's obvious that it is visod basid, that you additionally need to plaster. De sakadaitech de osod basid tanan, because if it enters your mind that it's an alternative that you can either distance 3 tefachim or you can plaster, well, if that would be the case, then we could lump together the first and the second cases of the Mishnah, right? Meaning, because the second case of the Mishnah says osod basid, or you can plaster. So if the ratio is oichet or, well, then just teach them all together. So from the fact that we split up the ratio and kind of the next segment of the Mishnah must mean that they are different, and therefore the ratio is visod basid and the next section is osod basid. But it says the Gemara, that's not such a good proof. You could say that you could argue that the ratio is osod basid, just like the next ukimta. So why not lump them all together? Why divide them up? Dilma mishum de lodami hayazeka layazeka. Maybe because they're different, we divide them up. So maybe the halacha is the same. Maybe both of them are osod basid, but they're divided up because they're different scenarios. Reisha azeka de masunta, seifa azeka de havla. The reisha is all talking about things related to moisture, right? Pits and ditches and vaults and laundry pits, and it's all about moisture-related damages. Whereas the next scenario, where it talks about like flintstones and compost and things like that, is talking about heat-related damage. So therefore, because they're different categories, they're separated, but you can argue that both of them are talking about osod basid. Fine. Tashmak Amir Rabbi Yehuda Omer says, Rabbi Yehuda, we saw a brisa yesterday, not quoted from Rabbi Yehuda, but it's the same brisa. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, within the brisa, Rabbi Yehuda says, Sela haba b'yadayim, if you have land, if you have earth that you can crumble in your hands, zayachbar bor mikan v'zeh, wait, what? Zechofer bor mikan v'zechofer bor mikan. So each one can dig his pit on either side of, I guess, the border of the properties. And each one of them has to distance 3 tefachim and additionally plaster. So taima de babi adayim. So the Gemara wants to argue that the reason why you additionally need to plaster is because it's very soft ground, and therefore the moisture can travel, can be absorbed in the ground. Halo babi adayim, if it was not particularly soft ground, if it was regular ground, then you would not have to plaster, and it would be either or. So the Gemara says, no, it's not either or, it's both. Huadin da'afagav tilo babi adayim nami sod basid. No. Even if it's regular ground, you would have to do both. You would have to distance 3 tefachim and also plaster. And nonetheless, we still have the case of ba biyodayim, of when the land is when the earth is soft, because Haggadah Chamina came into ba biyodayim libay rav chatvei. I might think that since the earth is soft, 3 tefachim wouldn't be enough. You'd have to do more than 3 tefachim. So Kamashman, that no, even by soft earth, 3 tefachim is enough, and you would additionally have to plaster. Wow, what time is it? 7:10. It's not that late at night, but I'm like, what? I got up really early today, but I don't know. All right, we'll make it through the daf. Where are we? Oh wow, not that far. Wait, are we far? Yeah, we're further than that. Yeah, I'm getting tired. All right, given the Babi Adam. Okay, fine. All right, we'll get through it. Okay. Where are we? Okay. Okay, so the Mishnah had said that we distance the like leftovers of the olive press, so I guess like the pits and the peels and things. Where am I? The olive press stuff, Vesazevel and manure, Vesamelach and salt, Vesasloim and flintstones, we have to distance those from the wall because they produce heat, so therefore don't make them too close to the wall. Tanan, awesome, we learned in Masechta Shabbos many years ago, like 4 years ago, I think. Bame tomnin uvama ein tomnin. What can we insulate with on Shabbos? You're allowed to insulate on Shabbos with things that do not increase the heat, but things that will increase the heat, that will contribute to the heat, you cannot insulate with. And we give examples of what are things that contribute heat. Ein tomnin lo begefes. Okay, not with these olive stuff. V'lo bezevel, not with manure. V'lo bemelech, not with salt. V'lo besid, not with lime. So far, same list as we have over here by the wall. But then there's a twist. V'lo bechol, and not with sand. Ben lachin, ben yiveshin, whether moist or dry. So maishna hacha de katani sloim velo katani chol, maishna hasum de katani chol velo katani sloim. So frekti Gemara, how come in Shabbos we have almost the identical list, just that in Shabbos they swap out flintstones for sand, and over here by the wall we swap out sand for flintstones? How come we have almost the same exact list, but there's that one difference between the two? Rav Yosef says, Rav Yosef, so says Rav Yosef, the reason why flintstone is excluded from the list of things to insulate with in Shabbos is because people don't usually insulate with flintstone, so it was left out. But Abaye challenges Rav Yosef. Do people normally insulate things with wool shearings and strips of scarlet wool? And yet, Ditani, we learn in the Brisa, Tomnin begiz et semer, that you can insulate with wool shearings of tzipe semer, I don't know, some other wool product. These strips of scarlet wool of a mochin and another, I think, wool product. You can't move them because they're muktzah. Now, so those are things that are not normally insulated with, and yet they are listed in the brisa. So the fact that like something isn't normally a primary insulator seems like it's not an issue. We would still list it. So why not list the flintstones over there in Shabbos? So Elo Amar Abai, rather this is Abai Yogid Olav Reo. This is a pasuk from Eov, but we're just using it sort of metaphorically. That what it means is Yogid Olav Reo. His friend will tell about it. That Abai Be'etzim says, look, in Shabbos we mentioned sand. Over here in Masechta BavaBasra we mentioned flintstones. You can apply. So when it says, flintstone in Masechta BavaBasra, it's coming to teach. Meaning we have almost the identical list. There's just one difference. In Shabbos we mentioned sand. In BavaBasra we mentioned flintstones. So therefore, when in BavaBasra mentions flintstones along with all the others, it's basically saying that on Shabbos you can include it also, right? Meaning when it says flintstones here, it's also telling about Shabbos, and when on Shabbos it says chol, it says sand, it's also telling about BavaBasra, right? They're kind of communicating with each other. Yagid alav Reo, it's sort of companion will sort of teach about it, and from the fact that flintstones are included in the list here, means that it could be included in the list there, and the fact that sand is included in the list there means that it can be included in the list here. Oichit. Hacha sloim v'adin l'chol. So here when it says flintstones, but also sand would be included. Tanasam chol v'adin l'sloim. And over there in Shabbos it mentions sand, but flintstones would oichit be included. Amalei Rava challenges Abaye. Iyagid olav reo. Well, Rava asks Abaye if the whole thing was this Yagid olav reo thing, that like, that like one of these items coming to like teach about the other ones in a different context. Well, it's kind of weird that like, I think there were 5 examples. What were they? There were Gevez, Zevel, Melach, I think Sid, and then Slaim. Yeah, I think there were 5 examples. 4 of them were the same in both Shabbos and BavaBasra, and only one of them was different. Like, that's weird. Rava suggests, as we're about to read, that if the idea was like to like teach one thing that would teach about the others, what you should do is list all 6 of them in one place. Let's say Masechta Shabbos, list all 6 of them, and then take one of them and use that in BavaBasra and say that when we're taking a sample from the list in BavaBasra, let it also, Yagid al Avrayel, also tell about the others and say that the others also apply. It's not limited to just whatever the sample is in BavaBasra, but all of them apply to BavaBasra as well. It's weird that like 4 out of 5 of them were repeated, were duplicated, and yet only one of them was kind of like switched out. Right? So Rava says Abaye Yagid olav reo lesninu lichulu bechado. So I have all 6 of them in one, either in Shabbos or BavaBasra. So let's say in Shabbos. V'lesne chado minayu beidach. And then just take one of them and put it in BavaBasra. And then let's read it with Agos Sabach. V'leima Yagid olav reo. And then we'll say, and let the one in BavaBasra come to also bring over all of its friends, right? That meaning it's one of the samples from Masechta Shabbos where we have the full list. Skip the next 2 words. Elo Omar Rava rather says Rava Hosum Hainu Taimo Delo Katoni Slaim. The reason why in Masechta Shabbos flintstones are excluded is Mishum Demashtechei Lo Likder, because they ruin the pot. Okay, because they ruin the pot. What does Rashi say? Okay, fine. Okay, that they ruin the pot and therefore it's not used. Okay, therefore it's not listed as something that you would insulate with that you can't. It's excluded because I guess people don't insulate with it because it ruins the pot, or maybe because it ruins the pot, it's maybe some kind of like shino or something. I don't know. Maybe it's like not. Darko or something. Okay, but it wasn't included in that list because it isn't something that you insulate with because it ruins the pot. And the reason why sand is not mentioned over here is because we're talking about placing items close to a wall. So because the way sand works as an insulator is that if you put something hot and then you put it into the sand, well then the hot thing will heat up the sand, and the sand itself will then get hot and contribute to the heat as well. But just like a pile of sand won't get hot on its own, and therefore there wouldn't be an issue with just dumping a pile of sand next to a wall. Right? Meaning, so it produces heat when you sort of place something hot in sand, well then the sand gets hot and kind of contributes to the heat as well. But sand on its own wouldn't contribute to the heat, and therefore it wouldn't be an issue putting it next to the wall. Right? And if you put something cold in there, it'll keep it cold, but on its own it wouldn't produce heat. But Rabbi Shaya, in his Tosefta, mentions sand in BavaBasra. Well, Hasan b'masuntatna. When Rav Shaya mentions sand in his Tosefta BavaBasra, He mentions it in the Reish of the Mishnah with like the with wet sand. So with like the pit and the ditch and the laundry pits and things. So therefore, so it was taught there, but not by the things that produce heat. Dida nami lesne v'lukmne b'masunta. Okay, fine, but still, then okay, fine. So if we're talking about where it's moist, why not include, like Rabbi Shaya does? Why does our Mishnah not include moist sand? So atanale amas hamayim. Well, we don't include moist sand because we already mentioned the amas hamayim, the water stream, so the water channel. So therefore, we don't need like more moist things. But we mentioned the water channel, and we also mentioned the laundry pit. So we are, mentioning multiple kind of wet things. No, but we need both of those. We need both the water channel as well as the laundry pit. The itana amas hamayim, because if you only have the water channel, we say that needs to be distance from the wall or from the border. Mishum de kviya, because it's permanent. What does Rashi say? Lo kviya kamas hamayim she'amas hamayim asuin lios sham olamis avazo akovis paimim shemishtaned lumanus acheres. Right, but the water channel is permanent, so therefore you have to distance it from the wall. But the water pit, on the other end, you could theoretically stop using it. It can go out of service. So therefore, maybe it would be okay. It's not as permanent. And if we only mentioned the water pit, the laundry pit, mishum de kavu v'kaimi, because the water just kind of sits there and it seeps into the ground. So therefore, you have to distance it from your friend's property. Aval amas hamayim lo. But the water channel, the water is moving. It's not just sitting there. So maybe that would be okay. Therefore, we had to mention both the water channel and the laundry pit. It's very technical, doc. But all right. So we said that you also have to distance any plants and plowing from your friend's from your friend's wall. So Zroim, why do we have to mention plants? Typically, mishum achreisha. If we already knew you plow before you plant, so therefore, if you're not allowed to plow, then memela you're not going to be planting. So why do we have to mention planting? You're not allowed to plow, so memela you can't plant. But what if you plant with like a hoe or a spade or something like that? So what you could plant and avoid plowing. So what about that? So we have to say that's also a problem. Machresha, but okay, fine. Now, why do we need to mention plowing? V'tepukle mishum zrayim. Right? What's the point of plowing? The point of plowing is to be able to plant. But if you're not allowed to plant, so what's the point of plowing? So if we already say you're not allowed to plant, so memela, what are you going to plow for? So why do we have to mention plowing? Well, apparently, I'm not a farmer, but apparently there could be scenarios where like plowing is good for like the existing trees. So like there you would plow without the intent of planting because you're plowing for existing trees. That's good for them, I guess. But typically Mishumaya, what about the fact that we already said at the beginning, the first part of the Mishnah talks about how you're not allowed to have water too close to your friend's property. So mainly if you're not allowed to have water too close, so then also you're not allowed to plant. What does Rashi say? Shesarach lashkosan tamid v'chemin de efshar lezroim below mayim lama lemisnenu hatan le'ezik d'lichluach eitzel kosa. Right? We already talked about in the first part of the Mishnah that moisture is going to be a problem. So why do we also need to mention the planting? If you plant, you're going to have a lot of water, but we know that water needs to be distanced. So why do we need the plants? I know that already. Memele. So Tana Be'eretz Yisrael koi dichsivim ta'ashamayim tishtemaim. Well, the Tana is in Eretz Yisrael where you didn't water the plants because from the Eibishter would bring rain for the plants. So we had to teach that nonetheless the plants have to be distanced. So does this imply that plants grow their roots to the sides? right? Meaning you can't plant too close to your friend's border because the roots are going to expand outwards into your friend's property, and it might ruin the foundation of the wall that's between the property. It would help to have a diagram for this. If you take, what do we say, a mavrich like geffen? I guess you take a vine. I don't understand. I'm not a farmer. I don't understand how this works. But you take like a vine and you like stick it into the ground or something, and then it like goes into the ground, and then you like dig it into the ground, and then like up. It makes like kind of like a scoop into the ground or whatever. But I have no clue how to describe this. I mean, I'll just describe. I'm looking at a diagram right now. I'll just like try to describe the diagram in words. You have like a grapevine and it goes out of the earth. You then take like the vine and then you like put it on an arc and then back into the earth, and then it kind of like swims under the ground and then emerges once again a few like feet later or whatever. Okay. So amabrichas agefen ba'aretz. So if you like, I don't know, stick this vine into the ground. Im al gabo offer shlosha tvachim lo yovi zera aleh. Im ein al gabo offer shlosha tvachim lo yovi zera aleh. If so the plant, you kind of stick it to the ground and it's kind of like swimming under the ground almost. I mean, plants don't swim, but I don't know how to describe this. And then there's like earth above it. So if the distance between the top of the earth and where the plant is swimming underground, there's less than 3 tvachim, so you can't put a seed there. But if it's more than 3 tvachim, then you can plant a seed there. Right? I mean, I guess if you're in terms of an issue of kilayim, I guess. Okay. V'tani alam, we talked about it. Aval zorea es atzdodin, but you can plant on the sides of the vine, elach ve'elach, on either side. So there doesn't seem to be an issue of the roots of the vine, or the roots, I guess, of the seeds expanding to their sides. Because if there was a concern, then we should have to be worried about kilayim. So says Chaga b'shem Reb Yossi that the seeds don't extend outwards; they go straight down, and that's why by the grafting it's okay because they're on the if they're on the sides. The concern by planting the seeds too close to the wall is not that they're going to expand outwards and damage the wall, but that they're going to grow downwards, but they're going to make the land soft. And if the land is too soft, then it's bad for the foundation of the wall. All right, we're almost done over here. We're going to finish off with the halachis of peeing in public. All right. So, you have to distance pee from the wall 3 tefachim. You can't just pee on the wall. You have to distance at least 3 tefachim. Or if you ask me, maybe I would say 3 blocks. You should distance 3 blocks. Get out of here. Or best case scenario, find a bathroom. All right. Rabbi BavaBasra says that you're allowed to pee on your friend's wall. The Pasuk says, "V'chati la'achav mashtin bekir." I'm going to destroy Achav, and there won't even be anybody to pee on the wall. V'atzu v'azav b'Yisrael, and anybody who's gathered and stored away. I think maybe there's going to be a lot of destruction. But the point is that the Pasuk mentions peeing on the wall. So apparently, peeing on the wall is a thing that's allowed. But I thought we said in our Mishnah that you can't pee on the wall. You have to go 3 tefachim away. Well, we could say our Mishnah is talking about where you have like a container with pee in it, and you're going to pour that onto the ground. So because that's, I guess, condensed or something, so that would have to be distanced. A person should not pee on his friend's wall. You have to distance yourself 3 tefachim. When we say that's a brick wall, where I guess the bricks can like kind of fall apart if you pee on them. But if we're talking about a wall of stone, then you just have to get far enough away so that it won't cause any damage. How far is that? Tefach. To get a tefach away. V'shel tzunma mutter, and if there's, I think, like a stone foundation or something, then it's mutter because the wall isn't going anywhere. So, but it sounds like, otherwise, kind of just stam a wall of your friend, you would not be able to pee on. You have to get at least a tefach away. So, tiyufta de Rabbi BavaBasra tiyufta. It's a kashan Rabbi BavaBasra. But Rabbi BavaBasra krok Amar. Rabbi BavaBasra mentioned the pasuk says mashtin bikir, peeing on the wall. Hasam achi ka'amar, what it's saying over there is afilu midei dedarke lishtune bikir lo shavkino le umaniu kabel. What the pasuk is saying over there is that things are going to be so bad that even the thing that normally pees on the wall, a dog, there won't even be any dogs left around. There won't even be any dogs left around. So dogs pee on the wall. Humans don't pee on the walls. Humans find bathrooms to go to, and that way the power washers can find something else to do.